Yo, what's good, everyone? Welcome back to my channel. Today we got a branded deck list. This is, as you can see, branded Dracotail. Um, so I'm basically just gonna talk about the Dracotail cards for a second and branded, and the new cards, which are these two, and like how good they are and like how you play them in the deck. And then we'll hop into some replays. I got my coffee and we're gonna commentate on some gameplays. I actually have so many replays, it's ridiculous. I have like 20, but so we're not gonna go over like all of them. We're gonna try to pick like the best ones out of them. Um, but yeah. First of all, let's get started with the new cards. So we recently got the Fallen Virtuous and Sigmata Devouring Dragon. I already showcased this card. I think this card is really good, and I really like this card. You basically become unaffected if you have Ecclesia on the field or grave. And you can easily access the Ecclesia by like sending it with Rounded Fusion to go into Sanctifier, or you can send it with Albion. I mean, like if you go Albion with Rounded Fusion, you send this and Albaz to get in grave. And then Quem can actually revive it, or it can send it to the grave. So that's pretty neat. Um, and this becomes 3500 unaffected, and it can shuffle up to 2 cards non-targeting. And this triggers on special summon, which means like you can summon this turn 1, send it to the grave by like going Cartesia fuse with this to get it in grave. Or you like fuse it into Rimbrum with like branded and white or something. Where's branded and white? Right here. Um yeah. Obviously, you can't fuse it if it's unaffected, so you need to be careful about that. You don't want to have like Ecclesia Engrave and then try to fuse this because it's not going to work. It's unaffected by all cards effect, not just your opponent's. Um, and this triggers on special summon, so you can like Quem revive it on the opponent's turn to trigger this whenever you want, kind of. To shuffle cards again. And when it goes to the grave in the end phase, you can add basically any Dogmatica or Tri-Brigade card, which means you can add Mercurier, or you can add like the new card because this is considered a Dogmatica card slash branded. And this would actually be good if you want to play like, where's the new Dogmatica card? Like this one. I actually did test this card and Chaplain with, where is the Dogmatica trap? That one. So basically what you would do is like you would activate this on turn 0. You would set the Dogmatica encounter trap, and then if you have either Quem or Albaz in hand, or Grave, you can basically summon it, and then you can start fusing on the opponent's turn. So you go Quem, send Albaz, right? And then when opponent uses the extra deck, which they are definitely going to use, unless they out the Quem early, Quem is going to revive Albaz, and then Albaz is going to fuse. And you can do this like really early, as long as like the opponent controls like a monster with 2500 from the extra deck. And then Albaz would go into Mirror Jade banish, and then you get like follow up as well with like Albion. Send Albion sets banishment. So even if they out the Mirror Jade, it's gonna trigger to clear their entire board turn 0, and they would just lose from there. It's kind of disgusting, but this is very conditional. So like you do need Quem or Albaz in hand. If you don't have that, the card is useless. And it is, I wouldn't say it's like a bricky because you can actually use this even if you like brick on turn 1. If you're bricking, you're usually like bricking on like Albaz or something, or you do have like a way to get into Albaz. So let's say you have like Ecclesia, you go Ecclesia, summon Albaz, and then like you can do some stuff with that, get it engraved, you can pop it with this. I do make a lot of plays like this when I brick. And then you can still use this. But in general, I don't think like it's just like a fun deck. I don't think that's something that you should be playing. And I did try the Chaplain as well. Chaplain is it's okay. It's not actually like that great. You do get to like recycle Dogmatic cards, so you can actually like get the Fallen and Virtuous, especially if you grass. So you grass and then you get this, and then this gets you this back to your hand without having to use Retribution. Um, and that's where actually only playing one retribution. I usually always play two, but I feel like I feel a bit more confident now playing only one, um, because you know you have to like use your resources properly. Because if you use the one retribution, you're not gonna have a way to recycle, so you're gonna need like kits. You're gonna need like other cards to get your stuff like tragedy and so on. So yeah, you would definitely need to play completely differently, and it basically um, is dependent on like your skill level with branded. So if you don't pilot this deck very well, you should probably play two of these and make some other adjustments to the deck. I've been playing this for quite a while, but I'm nowhere near like the best branded player ever or anything close to that. So I do make like misplays often and shit. But yeah, so the new card basically is treated as a branded and dogmatic card. So you can easily access this by like Aliber. You can add it with the kit. You can send it with the Serenir or Albion. Um, you can send it with Quem. Uh, and then in the extra deck, you have like Albion to set it, and then you have the Stigmata to add it to your hand. So you could add it to your hand with Stigmata, and then you use this in the end phase to pop a card, and then you also send like Rimbrom or Albion. So there's actually a lot of plays with this card. I think this card is absolutely amazing. And then you can also get it back with the Retribution. So this card also like is very good because branded in general would struggle against things like Baguska generally. Obviously, with the new Dragontail cards, you can actually like play around that because because we have Muller and we have things like Pan, which can just like send directly from the deck with Rahu or just Keto Dragontail, and then you'd put this on Chainlink 1, and then like this or this on Chainlink 2, which means this is gonna resolve, this is gonna negate the Baguska, and this is gonna pop the Baguska, right? So you can use either one of these. So it's not actually that big of an issue when you're playing this deck. But you would definitely need to play more of these. That's why they're in the side deck. Um, this basically gives you a way to get rid of the Baguska without having to like use anything else like Super Poly, which we relied on a lot previously, or like you know you wait on the opponent's turn and then you go Banishment, or you wait for them to put Baguska in attack. Like things can get a bit messy, but now like this fixes that issue because this is easily searchable. Uh, so yeah, this card's very good. You can also out like Floodgates in the back row. It can pop any card face up, so it can also dodge your opponent's imperms on Aliber, um, and like Veilers and stuff. And there's a lot of plays you can make with this to like dodge and stuff. I think this card is just very powerful. And secondary effect, if you have Ecclesia in your graveyard or the field, you can special summon any monster from either graveyard. This can be good because you can like revive Mirror Jade. You can revive this, and then this is gonna trigger to shuffle cards back. Like it has you know multiple uses, but most of the time I would say you don't actually have Ecclesia in the grave. But if you do like prioritize having this in grave, you can actually definitely like go into these like plays with these two cards. So yeah, the card is just very powerful. You can play this at 3. Um, as for playing it at 1, I feel like it's too good to play it only at 1, especially if you're playing only one Retribution. If you're playing 2, you can play it at 1. I would think so. But you do want to see this in your hand because it's just very good. In the case where like you break, you can literally activate anything and then chain this, pop it, like activate, I don't know, like Lost, for example, and then you pop it with this. You send like Albion or Titaniclad, and then you still get more plays off that, so you get like at least one interruption or so. One or two interruptions. Um, and then the Dragontail cards, you're probably wondering like why am I only playing one of these? Because most decks actually play like 3 of each. Maybe even like 3 Femina as well, and like Lucius and stuff. It's because this is I want to make this a branded deck. Obviously, I did like try playing a lot of different variants of Dragontail. I put like a bigger Dragontail package with like 3, 3, 3, and then like Frixel, Muller, Pan, Lucius. I definitely tried all of that, and I've been playing like Dragontail branded for since pretty much since it came out. This is like the first idea I thought of. Um, and I think it can get like really bricky and become more of a Dragontail deck list, which I don't want happening. I actually want to see more of the branded cards because they're way better. This is mainly to like first of all eat Impulse and Ash with the like Rahu Dragontail and Keto. And second of all, they're good to out things like Baguska or any like Floodgates or stuff or break boards because you just go Rahu Dragontail or Keto straight into this. This is gonna bait something and then this is also gonna trigger. So they have to like out multiple cards. It's gonna bait out a lot of interruptions basically, and you can also dodge with the Fine Mina. And it's easily accessible. This is not in the TCG yet, but it's easily like these cards are easily accessible by just Albion or Lubellion. So Albion would send Frixel, and then Frixel would set one of these, or the Trap, which we're going to be talking about in a second. Or you can go Lubellion, send Muller. So they both work. They're both very, very good and get you into your Dragontail engine. That's why you don't really need to play like 3 of these because you don't have to see them in your starting hand, right? Unless like for sure your opponent is on Impulse and stuff. That's why I play these in the side deck, so I can actually play these going second or game 3. So I can eat Ashes and stuff. So Mina is interesting because I was playing this at 3 initially. And the problem with playing this at 3 is you don't really have any targets. So sometimes you'll go like Aliber, they imperm, you want to dodge, you actually can't because it can only go into Dragon / Spellcaster. So unless you have an Albaz in hand or like Cartesia to fuse with, it's not actually going to do anything. And I was playing Sacramentum Dragon. Okay, I can't like spell that, but Sacramentum Dragon, which requires 1 Dragon, 1 Spellcaster. I was playing it instead of Grammel. This is like my kind of final deck list after like testing. And I think like the card is good, obviously, but it's better if you're playing like Lucius and like a bigger package kind of. You could definitely play it on the side deck because it shuts down things like Blue Eyes, but you already have like Alba and some other stuff, so you don't actually like need it. But yeah, I think like Grammel is probably better, so you just have another target. And then this under Lost can't be responded to, so you're guaranteed to pop a card. It's just like better, I feel like. Um, yeah, and then Femina can also like be very good if like let's say you already used Rahu Dragontail or you don't even want to use this, so you just get like Keto Dragontail, you get Femina. And then you can wait for your opponent's turn, and then you can go Titaniclad and phase add Albaz. So even if they like out your entire board, you're still gonna have this plus Femina in hand, so you can actually fuse them to go into Albion. And then you can like you still have like 4 interruptions off of that. So I do like the Femina, but I don't think you should be playing like too many. You can play like max 2, I guess, unless you like change the integrity of this deck. Then you can play 3. Muller, like I said, is like a good target for Lubellion, so you can send this whenever if you need to like negate something. You like Baguska, you go Lubellion, send Muller. Muller is gonna negate. This is gonna resolve. You go Mirror Jade, and then you just cook from there. And then Flame. So this is what initially convinced me to play this deck with like the Rahu Dragontail because it eats like Impulse / Ash. This is like good in the Malice meta. I think Flame is really good because of the fact that it can like negate Cold Buy, and that's one of the main threats to this deck. If you want to like revive with Banishment or anything like that, they Cold Buy. It feels really bad, and I know it's like a one-off, but people always have Cold Buy, and this is more prevalent in Master Duel because this is at 2, and the OCG I think, yeah, the OCG is also at 2. So this can feel really bad, and this negates it. This can also negate Harpy's Feather Duster because it kind of like blows you out. You don't like fully lose, not always, because you do have like Rimbrum, you have like Mirror Jade, Quam on the board, but it definitely like hurts a lot with a Harpy's Feather. And just like, can negate things like droplets, a lot of things. So Flame is very good. And it's definitely like one of my favorite cards because sometimes I don't even like go for these. I just go straight into Flame. And that's all I need because I just go for my usual branded board with an additional Flame. And usually like that's all you need because like the only way they're breaking a branded board is with like a lot of board breakers, and this is gonna negate them and give you an additional card. So that's something to fuse with as well, with like the Cartesia or Femina if you already have that. Um, and then Keto Dragontail is actually very powerful because these two plus Femina plus the Muller, they can all be like they can be responded to with Lost after you fusion summon, and also their activations cannot be negated. So they can Ash, sure, but like if you Ash, we have Branded Fusion to follow up. So they can't like go Caesar negate these. That's not gonna work. That's why I'm playing two Lost because I think one Lost is not doing this uh, deck justice. This deck like can really abuse Lost. So Gita Dragontail, because it has an effective fusion summon, if the opponent controls a monster, it can't actually be negated in that case unless the effect is negated, like Impulse. And this basically is like a good first card to activate because you go Muller, and then you fuse into Altharion, and then you have Altharion plus Muller under Lost. They can't respond. You basically, it depends on how many cards you have in hand. You can spin up to like 3 or 4 cards, and then Muller also triggers to set like the Raho Dragontail. This also can target like one of your cards in grave as well, like monsters, and then you get it back, so you can use Raho Dragontail to go into Grammel. You just have like so many plays before you even like make your branded plays. So yeah, I do think like the Dragontail stuff is really good, but I'm not playing like a huge package. I think this is just enough. We're playing only 6 cards here. And yeah, I think like that's enough. And then is there anything else to mention about these? Just Dragon, Spellcaster. Um, yep, and obviously like you can pop with this under Lost because the opponent is not going to be able to activate anything in response. Usually you want to chain link block the Grammel from like popping, and they can't actually do that. So that's pretty good. And in some cases you can play on turn 0. Like I said, look, you can go find Mina if you have Albaz, and then you go into Mirror Jade turn 0, and then you can just... You're probably going to win if you go Mirror Jade turn 0. It's kind of disgusting, but you should not rely on that, is what I'm trying to say. What else? So we do play 3 Fua here. I did cut something for this third Serenir. I just can't remember what. But you do want this at 3. I think it's really good. I also kind of do want to play like a third Albion, but there's just no room for that. Like ideally, I would also want to play like Lucius in here, but there's just no room, and like there's a lot of cards that will be competing for a normal summon if I play Lucius. That's why it's in the side deck instead. Same thing with Pan. But Pan and like the Muller are better high spirits targets. That's also something I should mention because they can send like either one of these, and it's better than sending Granganol by like revealing Lucius or Frixel / Femina. Yeah, and then what else? Fusion Duplication is just very powerful. I don't understand how people don't play these 2 cards. Like I always see people playing red or even like 2 reds, but not a banishment. And banishment is like could very well be like the difference between winning a duel and losing. Like banishment is so good. Plays better like under Nib, plays better under like floodgates, like to out them. Like sometimes you have like Dynamorphia, which is kind of disgusting. And the only way to out Dynamorphia with this deck, well, now you have this, obviously, but the only real way is like banishment. So you go Branded Fusion, Albion, and then you Lubellion tribute this, get engrave, and then you revive it with this, and then you can fuse with the opponent's Rexturn. And that's just like one example. That's like something that I just thought about. But you can use this in so many ways. It's so powerful. I just don't understand why people would not use that. It's like a fourth super pulley. Um, yep. And then anything else of interest here to talk about? Oh yeah, of course the Ecclesia. Ecclesia is like it's like super easy to get an Albaz out. So if you're able to get just Ecclesia on the field, your end board is going to be that much better because you don't actually need to rely on Rimbrum and Grave to revive Albaz. You don't have to rely on like Quem. You can just go this, summon Albaz, and then you also have the option to go into this because it's going to be unaffected. And yeah, that does win you a lot of duels. It has for me. And aside from that, I think the extra deck is normal. Nothing of like real interest here. But the side deck is important because as you can see, like I do have like the Dracotail cards, like I said, and I did mention like why I'm playing them. And then I do have Lenatus and Light and Darkness Dragon. So Lenatus is for Blue Eyes, kind of, mostly, or like any dragon deck in general, it can just destroy them. And then Light and Darkness Dragon, I actually do side this often because some decks just don't have an out to this card. You're gonna get 3 free Omni Negates, and that's pretty disgusting, right? And it's gonna keep Chainlink blocking your cards as well. So if you get like Femina or something, like they can't actually respond to anything, even if you don't have Lost. They can respond, but like they can't negate it directly if they have like a card that has to directly chain to negate. Droll and Lockbird and Prolia are just like normal, something special here. And then the D barrier and the second retribution. So sometimes I do like need the second retribution depending on like who I'm up against. Like if I'm up against another branded player, this will win you the duel, the second retribution. Or if you're against like a super grindy deck, you do want to play a second retribution. D barrier is just super good in the format because it shuts down pretty much every single deck, like Yummy, Vanquish All K9, and all of that. So and it's easily like you can easily like set it with just a thrust. Dimensional barrier. I accidentally just got rid of it. Okay. Yeah, that's pretty much it. It's all I really need to talk about. We'll like talk about the other stuff like while we actually play. We'll not play, like just show the replays. So let's see how many we have. We have like all of these all the way down to here. To here. Okay, so let's watch them backwards like this. Start with Snake Eye. So in this, we actually do brick. Wait, did we top deck this just now? That's crazy. So we go Albion, we set Lost, we activate Lost. Opponent has Droll and Lockbird. They do also have an Imperm. And then they are playing Snake Eyes. They have the Wanted Seeker, which is kind of annoying. But it's fine. They only really have like one play as well. Actually, wait. Oh, okay, that's their top deck. So we established Lost. We can't add anything, so it's not going to trigger. Add back Femina, trigger Mueller, and this. And then we chain this because it's under Lost. We set the Flame. And as you can see, like we sent the Titaniclad. And then we activate Retribution to get back the Fallen Virtuous. This looks like bad at first because you're like, okay, you don't actually have anything. It's not true because we have, this is follow-up. We have Flame to negate. This can add a Mercurier / Albaz. And then if we add Albaz, we can actually fuse with it with a Femina. So that's another interruption. We have Super Poly. We have Fallen Virtuous to pop. This can send, like if you summon Albaz, you can send Rimbrum, and then you can revive it, and then fuse into Mirror Jade, and then Mirror Jade effect. Like you have a lot of plays off of that. And then now we're summoning Quem to get the Albaz Engrave. Okay, we actually go straight for Albaz because we have Super Poly. So in the case where we actually go for Quem, I think... Okay, I was probably playing around like... what do you call it? like if they out this before or like an imperm, this actually plays perfectly under imperm. I did not know the opponent had imperm. I just know he had a toggle. I just wasn't sure what it was. Maybe at the time I was thinking about imperm, but going for Albaz is way better than going for Quem. Even if I went Quem, I could still fuse to trigger this and then add Albaz and then fuse. But this is just infinitely better. I would have to go Super Poly though to get rid of Femina here. That's like the only difference. So when you get this, Flame is insane because we actually draw into Lubellion, which means I can actually Femina like use these two to trigger this, and then we can still go Super Poly, Phone Virtuous, send Rimbrum, and then we still have like discard. So yeah, he sets the Subversion. If he activated Subversion, what I would do is just chain the Femina, and then we can go into what do you call it, the Albion, or we can go Chaos as well. Depends on like what he has on board. So then he passes. We still had like Super Poly. We had like Super Poly would go into like Mirror Jade, and then we get Mercurier instead. And then we still had Femina. Like we had a lot. This was a salty DDD player, so okay, look at this. This looks bad, right? This looks bad when you look at it. We finished our turn in 2 seconds. All we did is normal Quem send Brand Fusion. We have Fusion Dupe Super Poly. This is more interruptions than like a combo deck who puts goes on for like 3 hours to put on like 5 interruptions. This is more than that. And we did that in like 2 seconds. This is what I like about Branded. This triangle right here is disgusting. So you can Fusion Dupe, copy Branded Fusion. You can play around like literally almost anything because there's just so many lines you can go for. You can go Rimbrum, you can go Mirror Jade, you can go Albion Sanctifier, play around like, I don't know, like Evenly Matched or something. You can go for this, you can go Chaos Pop, you can go for this. There's just so many things you can do. So I will count this as, let's say you go Mirror Jade, that's 1 interruption. And then if you go Mirror Jade, you actually discard the Albaz from hand with Lubellion. So Mirror Jade sends a Rimbrum. So Mirror Jade, 1 interruption. Revive Albaz to fuse, 2nd interruption, and then you can fuse into like our goat right here, Sigmata. So that's 3 interruptions. And then you have Quem to revive as well. I'm thinking of, like what it can revive. It can actually revive Albaz, and then we can Super Poly as well because we have another discard here. So that's 5 interruptions, and then whatever we fuse into is going to be the 6th interruption. In 2 seconds, by the way. That's all we had to do. Okay, so I'm not sure why he didn't trigger this early to pop. Maybe he should have, because it would force out my back row. Because he can just activate this to pop like his back row, and then this triggers this to pop a card on the field. Yep, he probably should have done that. So I actually wait for him to summon something from the extra deck, and then we go into yep. So now we have to trigger this now, and the thing about this is that he actually can't pop anything. Because he's gonna trigger to pop now, and then I literally summon the Ecclesia. And now I can go into Albaz whenever I want. I don't have to revive the Albaz right now. And I'm already going into Mirror Jade. Mirror Jade's gonna clear him at the end of the turn. And I specifically go for Mirror Jade because I know he's gonna pop it. I don't want him to pop the Ecclesia. So he pops this, we trigger it, and then we go Ecclesia, summon Albaz, Albaz discard, and then you fuse these two into Sigmata. It's unaffected by everything. Shuffle these two back, and then we win, and then he calls me like a retard because he lost and he wants a rematch, and I'm just like, no thanks. If you didn't call me a retard, maybe we could have played or negotiated like a game 2. I as you can okay, so I do actually have 1-0 here because I haven't lost with this deck yet. I say this deck, but I have like been like playing multiple different branded decks. Like I've been like switching from one to another, but I haven't lost with the deck yet. I'm at like a 14 win streak, was it? Yeah, because the last two games were like super recent. I was on 11 win streak, and then I stopped, and then I played three more games. So yeah, I think it's 14 right now. This is the deck with the Dogmatica cards. I did talk about that with like the encounter. So let's see what happens. I do actually make some displays, but I'm not sure if it's in this duel. Probably in like multiple duels. We do this in the draw phase to play around. We do both of these in the draw phase to play around Droll and Lockbird plus Veiler, because there's a lot of decks playing Veiler right now. Droll kind of less prevalent. Okay, so you only do this, you only chain this if you know your opponent doesn't have anything. In the TCG, because you don't, there's no like toggle to like see what your opponent has or like their field lights up or something. You don't want to do that because if your opponent's holding Imperm, they can Imperm the Lubellion, and then or like yeah, they can Imperm Lubellion, then you're kind of cooked. So definitely don't do that unless it's like Master Duel or on here. And on Mirror Jade, Grangi, we have this summon Albaz whenever we have Retribution. I was setting out Luluwallalith, and then we can like shuffle back the two Albions for the Retribution. And then we have Rimbrum as well. Do we have Albaz and Grave? We do. Okay, and then that's another interruption. Then we go into Stigmata, another interruption. We have tons of interruptions here. And yeah, we just need to get the Obedience School. Because Obedience School is only at 1 now, he can't actually follow up with another one. So Retribution on that is actually amazing. And if he like follows up with anything else, I still have Ecclesia, I still have Rimbrum, like we have like multiple different things to do. And then he goes for game 2. Okay, so this is like why I stopped playing this, because like this is dead. The encounter doesn't actually do anything right now. Maybe like on my turn, it could do something, but right now it's not really doing anything. So I can add Albaz, and then this is gonna set the encounter, and then on my turn I can encounter summon Albaz from hand to like surprise him. And then he just scoops. Okay. He had D-Barrier, which is, I don't know why he scooped, but tis what tis. Maybe he had to go. Where do you watch this? Utopia. Sure, let's watch Utopia. Okay. So if we had the, instead of encounter, okay, we're actually going first, never mind. So we're 2-0. Okay, we pop our own card, and then we get it back, and then we set these. Unfortunately, I couldn't go grass because opponent's also playing 60. I thought he was like on branded as well, because like testing out the new support, but he's actually on Utopia. You can see his hand's kind of disgusting. He has like Raigeki plus this, and then he has Exo Construction plus Astral Karibo. What do we end on? Our triangle again. But it's a different triangle because it's a different deck. We can summon Albaz from hand / grave whenever we want with this. We can also like resummon the Quem if he outs it with like Raigeki. We have Fallen Virtuous to pop, and then we can send Rimbrum, and then Rimbrum can also like if we go, if we like, he like goes Harpy's Feather Duster, we summon Albaz, and then he goes Raigeki. I can still like send Rimbrum to revive the Albaz, and then we still have like Serenir as well, which will send like a branded sword. Actually, sword is in hand. So when we go Albaz, we discard the sword, and then we chain add Mercurier before we fuse. So we have another interruption off of that. Yeah. See what happens. Top deck's Veiler. Goes Zexal Construction, Ascended Sage. Okay. I think we fuse now. No, we actually wait. Okay, I do stupid. Okay, stupid misplay. I don't know like what the Utopia cards do. I completely forgot that this is actually unaffected by card effects, so it can't be popped. And I don't send a what do you call it? Like a Rimbrum here because I had this, and I think that was like a misplay. I should not have done that. So we Bestial this, so he doesn't revive, and then I think he goes Raigeki. Okay, he goes Battle Phase, so we summon Albaz. Yep, this is exactly what we talked about. We add the Rimbrum back, and then we go into Mirror Jade, revive the Albaz, goes Raigeki, chain, pop him, banish him, and then we send the Rimbrum. So we don't. Okay, we do actually have follow up. Never mind. We go Brand Fusion, then he scoops. You have lost as well now. Then we have Rimbrum for the following turn just in case, and we just put up lethal damage here. He doesn't scoop. Interesting. Yep, we go into a huge Stigmata. Shuffle back the Sword and Retribution because they're one-offs in my deck. And then we swing for game. Let's see game 2. Okay, so he bricks. But he has 2 hand traps. Protection is not actually usable. So we go Brandon White. We pop him, activate this. Okay. Banish this. I don't think this is game, but what do we have here? Okay, that was actually not great. I feel like we definitely could have played that better, 100%. So we go Granganol to dodge the Lightning Storm, and then we also can trigger this to go Quem. We can add this back. We have Albaz Engrave, so Rimbrum is activatable, and then if he activates anything from the like summons anything from here, we can just negate it with a little Lulawalith. No one actually like sees this card ever, but you can summon it with Grangi. So we actually fuse into Stigmata right here, which is oh, not into Stigmata. Never mind. Where is Stigmata? Is it Engrave? No, we just don't go for it because Mirror Jade gives you a follow up. Okay, and then True Draco. This is 8-0. Interesting. Opponent has Ash Veiler plus a Charmy. Yep. I think I still give him one draw because I go for Aliber, but let's see. We go Albion, Ransor. This is obviously with the Dragotails. This is not the same Dogmatica branded that we were playing just now. Okay, we go Aliber. We give him one draw. He draws into Kaiju. He tries to stop it. We actually dodge the negates. Go Branded Sword, and then we go Mirror Jade. Yep, send this to the grave to trigger it. So Branded White can... the good thing about this line is you actually get to send this to the grave without having to have like Lubellion. Because we went for a Dragotail line by going into Frixel instead of Lubellion. Because we already have Lost. So Lubellion doesn't actually do anything. So this was definitely the better thing to go for. He actually top decks a Dragonic Diagram, but we have the Flame for that. And then he Kaijus me, triggers my Mirror Jade, and then we activate this before this resolves. So we can revive. And then he activates Heritage, we chain 5 mana to go into Chaos. Chaos is gonna pop 1. And the reason it pops 1 is because it has to be light or dark. Altarian is not a light or dark. We trigger this in the end phase, add this, and then this would pop him, and then we have game on board here. Yeah, and this is like why I'm saying like this card is actually very good, because if opponent has like floodgates like this, they actually just don't work anymore. So Monarchs and all these like cringe floodgate decks don't actually work. Then he's like, let's play another game. And I'm like, okay. I think he also wanted a game 3, but I told him like, I'm not gonna duel you 100 times a day. We wanna like play against something other than stun. Dude, that 60 card deck is kind of crazy. Chains Brolia, this is fine. I think we're under 4. Yep, we're under 4. So we set the Fallen Virtuous. We have Fallen Virtuous. We can fuse with the Albaz here, and then we can trigger this to revive Albaz. Discard this to fuse, and then we also have Granganol. So Granganol can go into Quem. Quem can... Okay, it can either go into Quem, or we can just go into, like, Coritis as well. We have a pop with this as well. So he goes Interrupted Kaiju. We go into Coritis here to trigger. Okay, because Caritas triggers on pop, and then we summon Quem again. Send the Ecclesia. Okay, he has the Dragon Diagram. If he activated this, I would just pop it with this, and then I would send Rembrandt to revive Albaz whenever I want. So we do it now. We pop this, and then we trigger this to revive the Quem, and then we chain, revive Albaz. And it's because he set these, like, I know these are probably like true Draco traps, and not like called by. Otherwise, I would probably target Albaz instead of like the Caritas, and then if he has called by, you chain Rembrandt to that. And now this is unaffected, we shuffle 2 back, and GG. This is a stun deck. So that was like the 3rd game here. You can feel it. So actually 4th game. It's 3-0 at this point. So again, like you can see like the value of this card. He actually protects it, which is annoying. So we normal summon, swing over it. We can't do that, which is fine. So we just set another one. And we just like keep like destroying him every single time. Okay, King Ryo doesn't let you add, I believe. Yep. And then we revive this, and then we fuse with him, and then he scoops because he knows it's over, because we go Chaos, pop 2. Bye-bye to everything, and then we just kill him on the following turn. This was a not a bad... Actually, wait, let's watch the Musketeer one. Or should we... Let's do Moonlight. Okay. I do hate Lunalights. I think the deck is just cringe. So we actually grab Branded Opening instead of Fusion. We go Aliber, add Branded Fusion, and then we go into Albion. Okay, this is basically all you need, and so this line right here actually plays perfectly into Lunalights. I did not know he was on Lunalight because this was game 1. But instead of going Mirror Jade, you just go into Titaniclad, and then you fuse with the Titaniclad, so you get exactly the same board. Actually, I would probably say this might be even better. Right? So you go Grangi, we draw an additional card, and then we go Quem, send sword. So let's see what we have. This is going to trigger in the end phase. This is also going to trigger in the end phase. We're going to add this back. Let's actually resolve the end phase chains first. Before we talk about like the interruptions. We get the Ecclesia back. We get the High Spirits back. It's going to add Albaz. And then we are going to set a Branded in red or Banishment. Cool. So here's what we have. We have Granganol to summon... I don't think we're on Stigmata right now. Yep. I mean like the Synchro. So this can summon like a Caritas or another Quem if we need to. I think we go for Quem in this game. Quem can also revive like an Albaz from grave, or actually Cartesia, and then Cartesia can fuse with the Albaz in hand. And then we have Super Poly, we have Brand Banishment, which can revive any one of these. We have this to pop. Yeah, we have a lot of interruptions here. And we also have Mercurier, which we can add with a Lost. So let's see what happens. The main... okay, so this is why I said this line's actually better than going Mirror Jade, because you have to pop your Mirror Jade here. This card's annoying because it says, if your opponent controls a monster that was special summoned from the extra deck, you can also use one Lunalight monster in your deck or extra deck as fusion. The Liger requires a Leo Dancer, so they would send a Leo Dancer and then they would go straight into this. And then that would be like a huge issue because they can nuke the entire board and they're unaffected by everything. So how do we stop this? He just needs to send literally one card. So I just need like one card summoned from the extra deck, which I actually only keep one on the field, which is Granganol. And now we chain to pop it with the Fallen and Virtuous. So like I said, like there's so much you can actually do with this card. And this means he can't go into the Liger, so he goes Perfume Dancer. Him activating Eclipse doesn't do anything because these two are not actually doing anything on the board. And Quem, I can just like summon another Quem with the Granganol. We already have this engrave as well. And then if we go Banishment, we can fuse with the Lobelion / Aliber whenever we want as well. Or we can like fuse with like one of his cards with the Aliber as well. So that's not really an issue. I do the only misplay I make here is it's not a misplay, it's just like not the best thing to do here. And it's the fact that I sent Mercurier instead of like waiting to add it with the branded Lost. So we go Super Poly into Coritis, and then we revive the Mercurier. I mean, if you think about it, like there's actually not really anything else that's better to revive. So that does make sense. I'm not playing like Light and Darkness Dragon. It's in my side deck. Otherwise, I would like revive. Nah, it wouldn't matter either way. Yeah, I think this is also like fine. That's why I don't really call it a misplay. And then we can like add another Albaz, but we add Kit in this case. So we go Mirror Jade. Opponent adds Polymerization. He goes Perfume. Okay, and then he is just trying to bait as hard as possible. He wants to bait like these before he goes into his actual plays. And then we go Chaos, we pop 2. He activates this to reduce everything. And then he goes Foolish Burial, send this. Revives Kaleidochick. This is what you have to stop. Because this is gonna allow him to like send Leo Dancer and stuff. And then go into the Liger. And then he realizes he actually just can't do anything here. He already used the effect of this. And he scoops. And then he's going first. So he actually sides in D barrier, which is disgusting. And it's only fair that I Fua him because he has D barrier. So we draw a card off this. He goes Kaleidochick. Is Kaleidochick once per turn? No, that's like the disgusting part about this. It's not once per turn. You can keep abusing it. Just keep like reviving it back and back every single time. We draw into Despia, which is good because we banish the Kaleidochick here. I'm not sure how many Kaleidochicks he plays. I would think 3. Yep, it's 2. Yeah, okay, so he only plays 2 actually. Revives here. Our hand was kind of bad, but now it's like more playable for sure. Okay, that's kind of disgusting. He draws into another D barrier plus Ash, the 2 best cards against branded. End phase, we banish this because it's a spell trap negate. And now we go Lost, activate Rahu Dracotail, then he D barriers. So D barrier is not an auto win against branded, far from that actually. So he ashes the High Spirits, which is the right play because we can't go branded fusion this turn. And then we end on this. So we have Banishment to revive. It's not currently live, but we can make it live. Whatever we summon we can use Retribution as well to like spin it back and negate something. We can add Mercurier as well to negate. We have Branded in red, which we can use after we fuse. Because Albaz, we're gonna have 2 Albazes in grave. And yeah, we have like a bunch of interruptions here. Throw a D barrier and Ash. Okay. I think what he should have. No, actually, I was gonna say like he should have set double D barrier so he can use it on this turn, but like it would lock him out of fusions as well. So it's actually gonna hurt him more than it hurts me. So we shuffle 2 back. And then he goes up to this. This is all baits. Like this is just all baits. Now okay, I do make a misplay here by popping his Pendulum, because I didn't know the Pendulum actually had an effect that revives, so I'm forced to Mercurier that. We have an unaffected Stigmata on the field, and then we still have Banishment plus Retribution. And that's game. And then we have this against Dogmatica. He's going first. Okay, he has Ash and Nib in hand. Okay, he doesn't draw into TTT. Now he has Nib as well. 3 hand traps plus Dogmatica Punishment. It's not bad. That's 4 interruptions. Because Punishment is 2 interruptions, it can send like an Entis. Ashes, the opening for some reason. Okay, we go for Mercurier. Send the Albaz. We actually, look at that. We draw into Branded Fusion, which is disgusting. Could have played around Valor by going like Mercurier first, Albion, send Albaz, and then we go Branded in red when he tries to negate our Albor. But obviously, like, we don't know what he has in hand. So we go Rahu Dragotail. Okay, so the thing about branded is like you never want to nib a branded player. If you nib a branded player, you're gonna lose because he's gonna get more advantage off of that nib, more so than if you didn't nib. I have never nibbed a branded player. I don't think, at least. I mean, I have like a couple times when I think it's convenient, but that's like super rare. It like never comes up. If I have nib in hand against branded, I just keep it in hand. Because if he nibs here, what's gonna happen is this is gonna trigger in the end phase. Mirja is gonna trigger to wipe out the entire board. This is gonna set banishment. Banishment gets this back, so it's not actually gonna matter at all. You're gonna have the exact same board that you wanted, plus more because the banishment actually has a good target to revive, which is the Mirror Jade. And then if you also have like Blazing Cartesia on the field, you can actually chain it to go Granganol, and then Granganol triggers to summon Quem in the end phase. Not in the end phase. It triggers to summon it, and then in the end phase, you can actually like send, I don't know, like if you have Mercurior here, you can send like Sword to get Mercurior back. You just have so much, right? So he loses here because he nibbed. I mean, he didn't really have a choice. He would have lost anyway, but see what happens. So we go Quem. Literally, like, we also have the Flame because we went for a Dragotail combo. Summons Ecclesia actually just doesn't matter whatsoever. This doesn't do anything. Activates it, get flamed. And then we still have Banishment to revive the Mirror Jade. And then we have Phimena. And yeah, GG. Quem triggers, bye bye. And then this is game. Is that, wait, who is that? Okay, that's him again. So he goes first again. He actually breaks. I mean, he doesn't break. It's just that Broly actually like hurts him. He doesn't want to like normal summon anything because he's gonna give me draws, and he thinks I would break because he has one Imperm plus Veiler. But like that's not really gonna stop branded. Imperm is actually like decent against us, but it's not like insane. So then he loses to one grass. Okay, this is against Blue Eyes. I'm not sure if he plays another game because I do have this written as game one. So let's see what happens. This all in the draw phase to play around Duel and Lockbird plus Veiler. If you have access to Blazing Cartesia or like Fusion deployment, you don't really have to do this in the draw phase because you can dodge. It's more so if you don't have that and you want to play around like Veiler and stuff that you do this. Again, if you notice, like I do actually like ending on Granganol and nothing else, and like put everything else in like the back row and stuff. It just plays better into board breakers because Droplet doesn't really like do too much against this. Yeah. So he actually does have the Droplet. And then he top decks Cold by the Grave, which is disgusting. So let's see what we do here. We chain this, he doesn't actually Droplets, which is interesting. Okay, he Droplets now. And then we chain okay, so we played perfectly around his Cold Buy. We tried to revive, and then he Cold Buys, and then we go Mirror Gates and Rimbrum effect to revive the Albaz. So let's see if he negates the Albaz. He does not. I guess he needs these. And then this also gets us Mercurior, so now we have a monster negate. This is Sacramentum actually just shuts down everything. You can't activate spellcasters or dragons. We have D-Barrier for like Tyrant slash any synchro plays that he makes. We have Banishment as well, which can go into Chaos Pop 2. So let's just game over. We can also go Quiritis as well. Yep. And then trigger Albaz to get follow-up. And we still have the barrier plus Mercurior. Let's see, Sky Strikers. I do hate Sky Strikers so much. Okay, this is the Dogmatica deck. I think this is like game one. Yeah, this is like the first game I played. Because I don't actually have like anything written here. I was like recording how many wins. You go for a Rimbrum line because we have a Bestial in hand. And then we end on this. Again, I do like to keep my board simple, mainly because like the opponent has a lot of board breakers. So uh the Fleur de Lis is actually activatable because this is a Dogmatica card, so this would actually negate something. But I think that it's not actually worth keeping. It's better to go for this and discard it, right? And then you trigger the Mirror Jade, negate it with the Rimbrum, set the Retribution. So we have Retribution, Banishment, called by Mirror Jade still activatable. We have Rimbrum, we have this to trigger, we have Quem to revive, we have this to fuse. Yeah. So this can like send Quem, send Albaz, and then revive. But like he actually has the Raigeki, which is annoying. It's not the end of the world because we still have this, which can summon Quem, send Albaz, and then we still have Rimbrum. Do we have a way to like add anything to the hand? I don't think so, but it doesn't matter because you don't actually need that. You can summon the Albaz with the Quem and keep it on the field, no effect. And then you go Banishment, revive Mirror Jade, and then fuse the Albaz with his cards, and you still have Mirror Jade plus whatever you summon, like a Stigmata or something. And then you still have Retribution, which can shuffle back the Titaniclad plus the Albion, and then we still have Callby. So let's see if he gets the Harpy's Feather Duster here. We revive Albaz, making it ready. So he actually takes control of that. Sky Striker is so stupid because like the engage is not once per turn and they just generates so much advantage. It's disgusting. You add whatever you want and you get additional draw off of that. And you do this like infinite times because it's not once per turn. It's just crazy. So we fuse with the Albaz. I don't know why he took control. Actually, this doesn't do anything. And then we go Albion Sanctifier because he can't target it. So it's very powerful here. And then we negate him. He goes for this. Gets another engage. Just engage farming here. And then he gets punished by Karma. And he draws all 3 rays and he scoops. Get out of here. So this is Regenesis. Kashtira Regenesis. Plus Dogmatica, actually. Dogmatica, Kashtira, Regenesis. Okay, we go Quem. We can dodge like Imperms and stuff. He doesn't have any. He actually does have 1 interruption. He go 2 interruptions because he can go for this, set the punishment in the end phase, and then punishment would pop. So we set the flame. I think he actually pops the flame in the end phase. We go for this. Shuffle these 2 back because we only play 1. What do you call it? Retribution. So we shuffle it back, and then we banish him to send the Rimbrum to the grave. Entis is also gonna pop our back row, and then we just set a Fallen and Virtuous instead of banishment. Makes sense. We revive, and then we can activate the Ecclesia, not Ecclesia, I mean Cartesia, to fuse, and then we go into another Mirror Jade, and then this is fine. So I'm actually not sure why we use that to banish, but it doesn't really matter, I guess. He goes for this. This is fine. Lava Golems, and then like Lava Golem is not really gonna do anything here. So he swings over this. This triggers clearing his board in the end phase, and then he adds back his Lava Golem. But there isn't gonna be another turn after this. So we add Fallen and Virtuous. Look how many triggers we have. Look at that. Add Branded Fusion. Summon Quem. Send Ecclesia. Yeah. And then we destroy him because of Mirror Jade effect. So it goes Rebirth. No reason to activate anything. I don't actually care. Yep, we have Super Poly now. Go Albaz, no effect. Super Poly. Okay, so I was trying to fuse with the Sage because I thought you could go into Albion, but I forgot it's not a light spellcaster. So you go Mirror Jade, no effect with the Lubellion because we just need to send Tragedy to get the white. He spins this back, which is good for us. I actually do want it back in my extra deck. Alternatively, you can spin it back with the Stigmata, and then we win. And then this is against Memento. So this is like a game where we just brick because he has the Ash. So we have nothing else here. So we actually normal summon Tragedy, pop it, trigger its effect to add follow-up, and then we send the Titaniclad to summon Albaz. We have Super Poly for the Albaz. Usually when I summon Albaz, instead of Quem, it's because I have Super Poly. Quem might take like a longer time. Like the opponent can just choose not to summon from the extra deck, and then you get cooked. So I do actually like going for Albaz directly. He also has Super Poly plus Eclipse. So I wait for him to activate, and then I Super Poly this, go into Albion, and then we go Mirror Jade, and then he Super Polys that board. But Retribution is still activatable. We negate him. He chains, we Retribution negate that. He doesn't have anything else. And then I think he scoops here. Yep. Eldritch Fiendsmith. How about like a Dracotail? Let's make this the last one. So this is a mirror match. I think his deck is kind of weird. He's playing Ad Libitum, which is not actually like the worst thing ever. But he's playing like Fright for Patchwork, Polymerization. It's just like too bricky, as you can see. I mean, his hand is like super bricky, but he gets lucky with the Fua. So I do give him a draw here. We go Thrust, the Fusion Dupe before he gets Ash. And then we go Branded Fusion. Get the Flame. And then, okay. So we still have Phimina, we have this to fuse, we have Albion Sanctifier, we have Albaz Engrave. Flame plus Duplication, like we have a lot of interruptions. We did give him a few draws, but it's not the worst thing ever. So, okay, goes High Spirits, chains in red. I chain to take his Ad Libitum so he can't fuse. And he goes Albaz, I fuse here into Grangi. Fuses with the Grangi, which is fine because now Grangi triggers. And then we set follow-up with the Keto. Okay, Quem effect, send Sword because I can just get it back after I banish the Albaz, and then Phimina would be activatable. So we shuffle back these two. We shuffle back his Albion so it doesn't trigger in the end phase, which is like super powerful here. And then we still have the Flame, and this is unaffected. And then we still have the Phimina as well. So we can go into like Chaos using these two to pop two. Negate the Poly, goes Ad Libitum. Okay, we go into Boral instead. I did cut the Boral, if you guys notice my final deck list. This actually boosts him up enough to swing over Stigmata, which is kind of funny. But Stigmata triggers here, it doesn't matter. I just have infinite triggers, plus this, plus Keto Dracotail, it's game over. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed that video, and tell me what you guys think about the new cards plus Dracotail with Branded. I really enjoy this deck a lot. I've been playing this for months. And yeah, I think like this gave us like a huge power boost with the Stigmata. Easily kind of becoming like one of my favorite cards, not gonna lie. And yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.